going well. How are you?
Thank you.
Where are you?
I'm in Toronto. Where are you?
I'm in Montreal, not far
Oh,
away.
pretty close.
Yeah. Are you at home or not? You live in LA now, right?
I go back and forth. I'm in home in Toronto, like in my parents' house right now.
Okay. It looks very cool wherever you are.
I
Like
know
a
it's
good
like
backdrop.
it's like a headboard that goes all the way around, but people are always like, "Oh, it looks like a studio." I'm like,
It's huge.
it's like
Mm.
it's an accent wall headboard.
Okay. I don't have one of those. But anyway, maybe
Yeah.
maybe in the future when I get to
I,
your
I have
place.
no idea. My aunt was like, "You need to get this." I was like, "Okay."
So, how's your week at the moment? Must be busy, right?
It's good. Yeah, very busy. Lots of interviews pre-album release, but it's exciting. It's like I've never released an album before or like a full-length album. I put out EPs, but yeah, this is my first like big thing, so it's like exciting and very nerve-wracking.
It feels like it's been a minute since you started, but at the same time, it feels like this album is kind of overdue. Does it feel like that for you?
Yeah, I mean, it does it's weird. It feels like I always feel like I'm still a new artist, but I guess like I started releasing music in 2019, so I'm not that new anymore, but I still kind of feel new. It's weird, but yeah, it definitely feels overdue for an album. I've been wanting to put out an album for so long. Like I am such a storyteller that like I love when there's like more pieces on like a project so that it tells more of a story. So I've been like just craving to get more songs out. So I'm excited to have that.
So, Falling for Robots, it wish I was one. Title of the year for a start.
Thank you.
Can you remember when you first came up with that line?
Yes. So basically, so You and the Tin Man was the first song that I wrote for this album, which is also fun because it's the last song on the album, which I think is cool. But in that song, I talk about falling for this guy that doesn't have a heart and is emotionless. And I say, well, I guess robot's my type because like this happens to me a lot. And then that was like I wrote that at the end of 2021. And then I guess like a year later, I wrote Wish I Was a Robot. And when I wrote that, I was like, oh, that's funny that I'm like wishing I was a robot now when I was just saying like a year ago, like I'm falling for these types of people, but now I want to be this. Like there's something interesting there. And right after I wrote that, I was like, wait, those two opposite sides of the coin are like, there's something to that. And then I was like, what if my album was about that? If it was about like, finding myself in these situations, falling for these sort of people, having experiences with that, but also at the same time being kind of jealous of that they could go on living their lives like that because I'm the complete opposite, like overly sensitive, overly emotional, just freaking out constantly. And then I was like, oh yeah, it'd be really cool if it was about both of those things. Then I just typed out like falling for robots and wishing I was one. And I was like, that sounds good. I was like, there's something about that like, and so I kind of played with a bunch of other different titles, but I always kept coming back to that one.
You said like you've been releasing music since 2019, but I think you said that Overkill was kind of where you found your sound. So,
Yeah, Overkill was where I was like, okay, this is like my first thing that I'm like really super proud of, and I feel like it sounds like really me.
so what happened between 2019 and Overkill?
So my
Apart
first
from the obvious.
yeah, my first song I ever put out called Yours, which I still love. It somehow got like the iHeartRadio Future Star program. It somehow got to be that. And so I was blasted all over the radio, and then I was like, "Oh my God, like I'm a radio artist now. Like I need to like make more songs that are." And this was like it was on the radio when guitars weren't really on the radio yet. Like it wasn't a thing to have guitar, like electric guitar on the radio. It wasn't in yet. And then so I was like, oh my God, I need to like make stuff that's more pop that will like work on the radio. And that's kind of like Sweater Collection, the EP, how it was born. I feel like I was trying to do this thing and trying to be this girl that wasn't necessarily actually. And I mean, I still think the lyrics are authentic to me, but I just remember like the whole vibe of it. I was like really just trying to do something. And of course, it didn't end up working out. Never went on the radio again, any of those other songs. So that was a good lesson to me in authenticity of like, you got to be yourself, or otherwise it's not going to work if you don't even like love it. So that's kind of what I was doing in between then. And then I kind of had time to really sit and be like, okay, what do I want my sound to be? What do I like? What are the things I like? And then that's kind of when I started figuring it out. And then, of course, COVID happened. So I had even more time to figure it out and really to sit with myself and be like, who am I? So that's how we got there.
So what was the goal when you kind of figured out what you wanted to sound like? What were you aiming for?
Well, I guess just like the kind of stuff, like I grew up on like being obsessed with Green Day and then Hillary Duff, like, and then Avril Lavigne, I guess, in the middle here, which I feel like my music honestly is a good amalgamation of all of that. And then, so I kind of just, I wanted it to be more, yeah, I guess like more like organic elements and like more guitars, more fun, like to jam out on the stage and like stuff like that. And at the same time, I wanted it to be like really honest and really authentic because as I said, like I learned that lesson of like, you need to just like say what you want to say and fucking do it, So I just always try to be super like honest and matter of fact and like conversational when I'm writing.
So what was the first song you wrote where you were like, yeah, this is it?
Um, I feel like I want to probably like Lonely and Pathetic, which was like the first of the releases. Cause I remember we had just gone into second lockdown and I was like, oh my God, this again. And I was just like feeling like a piece of shit. And I was just like, how am I at this point again? Like, why am I always here? Why do I always find myself here? And then I wrote Lonely and Pathetic honestly as a joke, like, and I sent it to my producers and they were like, wait, there's something here. Let's like produce this. And we had the best time producing it. That was like one of the best days ever. And it just like felt right.
Okay. So now we have an album, June
Yeah.
7th. How do you decide at this point what makes an album?
So I'm like a stickler for a theme for sure. So I had to make sure like all of the songs were either about falling for a robot or wishing I was one. So that was important to me. And then I don't know, I just feel like I kind of have like a certain like, okay, a certain standard of like, do I feel like this song is amazing? And if it is, I put it on the album. And if not, doesn't make the cut. So I have to like really just like, it's just kind of a feeling, I guess, a gut feeling of like, is this, does this belong here? Is this really good? And everything on the album I feel like is really good. So hopefully everybody else
I
feels
hope so.
that. Yeah, exactly.
um, is that limiting though? Like having that theme, do you kind of sometimes come up with ideas that don't quite fit, even though it's a good song?
Honestly, I only had one song that I really did want to maybe put on the album that didn't fit, but I was like, if this song is good, it will still be good later on. So a lot of like, I mean, it is pretty broad too, Falling for Robots and Wishing I Was. I want just like any relationship song about someone being an asshole to me, or anytime I feel anxious or confused or overwhelmed or whatever. So,
Do you have a lot of inspiration to draw from with the assholes?
unfortunately, I don't know how I get myself into this. But I guess it's like opposites attract. And I guess because I'm sometimes insecure and overly emotional, maybe I always like get these things on TikTok. It's like anxious attachment, falling for avoidant, and I'm like, I think that's me. Um, but yeah, but I've also met so many amazing people. But unfortunately, like, and I've had so many amazing experiences too. That's the thing. But it's just so hard for me to write a happy song. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Faceplant is a happy song. Faceplant's on there. That's a happy song. So, I mean, it's kind of a happy song. It's about falling for someone really hard, but it was inspired by me breaking my face and falling. So it's
yeah, I
not
heard about
100% happy. Yeah.
that. Yeah, there's some artists that I love that I'm like, I never really want them to be happy because I can't imagine them writing good music if they're happy because they write such
Yeah.
good
I don't know
sad
why.
songs.
Oh, it's so hard to write a happy song. I don't know why.
Well, hopefully,
Because I'm dramatic. I'm like, I need the drama like in order to write. Like, I don't know. I'm just
it's
get that.
it sounds like things are like on the upward trajectory for you. So hopefully happiness is coming, but I hope that doesn't.
Yes. No, I'm actually very happy right now. This is a good time in my life. I've like been like, oh my God. Like I finished writing the album in September or yeah, because I was on tour for 3 months. So I had to like finish everything. And now at the point if I am in my life, I'm actually really happy happy in like relationships and everything. And now I'm kind of like, what do I write about after this?
Yeah.
I'm just like, cheat on me, please, cheat on me.
No, we don't want that. I'm sure you
We
can
don't
find
want that.
inspiration
We don't.
elsewhere.
We don't want that. But
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like, but maybe. No.
So you mentioned about TikTok. Obviously, that's been a big part of your journey. What's your relationship with social media like now?
Um, I like most of the time wish that it would just blow up and not exist anymore. But at the same time, I think it's such a good tool to like get yourself out there. And that's the problem. It's like at any moment, any song can blow up, people can find you, whatever. So it's like that constant pressure of like, I should be posting more because every time I post, I can gain a new follower, a new fan, a new listener, something, something can happen. But then it's like that pressure of like having that. And then if like I don't do it, I'm like, oh, I'm a failure. But it's like it's definitely not healthy to be glued on your phone 24/7, answering comments, posting this, whatever. Like it's not good for the brain. So it's definitely a love-hate. I think that social media provides so much opportunity for artists that they didn't necessarily used to have. But then at the same time, it's just so oversaturated and so much pressure and so much craziness happening. So it's a love-hate.
As long as you can be aware of when to turn it off, I think it
Yeah,
can be a really good thing. So
totally.
hopefully keep a handle on it. Now, obviously, you've done a lot of touring. Like in a short space of time, you've been at a lot of places. You've been to my homeland over in the
Yes.
UK.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
Um,
noticed the British accent.
yeah,
It wasn't a Montreal accent.
yeah, I've been here 10 years, but I'm originally from the UK. And yeah, some of the like I used to work for Rock Sound
Oh, no
actually
way.
in the
I just did
UK.
an interview with them and a cover.
Yeah. I know you've had a few conversations with them before.
Mhm.
Um, so speaking about touring, like what have been the pitch me moments so far for you? There must have
Like,
been a few.
like the best moment. Oh, the pinch me moments.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say performing with Simple Plan. I performed I'm Just a Kid with them, which is like a song that I literally like as a kid used to sing all the time. And I've performed with them actually twice now. And both times I've completely blacked out. Like I don't remember it happening. I think because my brain is just like, like how is this
Yeah.
happening to you?
But
So
it's on video. I've seen the video.
it's
So
on, yeah, literally the first it happened, and then I got off the stage and my label was there and they were like, that was amazing. And I was like, I don't even know what just happened. I was like, I don't have memory of it. It was the weirdest thing. My brain's never done that. And then I watched a video and I was like, oh my God, this is sick. And they were like, you just did this. Like, what do you mean? Oh my God, this is sick. Like you were there. And I was like, I don't remember. Like it was so weird. Um, so that always gets me. So that was definitely a pinch me moment. I would say just like my first tour in general, like with Newfound Glory when I was in the US, or the first time actually I would say the first time I went to the UK when I was in London and I was singing my song, and people in the front row were screaming the lyrics, and I was like, what the hell? Like my music reached all the way here. Like it's just so crazy. And like, or even like in cities like Berlin or like Prague, like where like and they don't speak English as like the first language. Obviously they know English, but like it's not their main language. And I'm like, and you're screaming like you turn me on, but you give me depression. Like how the fuck do people know this? And it's just so it's really cool. I'm always in shock that I have fans. I don't know why. I'm just like, what the hell? Like I'm a fan. I'm a music fan. And so I really do get imposter syndrome a lot. But when I'm backstage, I'm like, this isn't like a professional concert because like I'm the singer. Like I've been to professional concerts as a fan, but like this isn't one because like it's just me singing. Like this is not a real concert. That's what I always think. But I'm like, but no, it is. But I'm just, it's so weird. It's the weirdest feeling still.
but so many artists have imposter syndrome, I think it's a
Yeah.
really common thing. But
Oh yeah.
I think you're gonna have to get used to it
Yeah. I
from what
guess.
I can anticipate happening next. Like
Yeah.
after this album drops, things are just gonna keep going
Yeah.
whoosh for you, I think.
Hope so.
So enjoy the ride.
Thank you.
Um, let's talk about like you talked about some of the music that you kind of grew up on. What's your first memory of music?
I feel like my first memory is like my American Idiot CD. honestly. I don't know how I got it. I always ask my mom, I'm like, why did you get that for me? She's like, she's like, I'm pretty sure you picked it out. I was like, why? What possessed me? I was probably like, ooh, a red heart. Like knowing me, I was probably, but yeah, like I just remember like putting on concerts in my parents' basement, like practicing American Idiot just in case they called me up to sing. Not like my parents ever
Which
let me
they
go.
do. They do
Yeah.
call people up on stage. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, I ended up meeting Green Day a couple of years ago, which was like another pinch me moment. So that was another one. But yeah, I don't know. Wait, my parents never even let me go to a Green Day concert. They didn't let me go to concerts because my mom was so strict and she didn't want me to become deaf by going to a concert. Joke's on her. I'm a musician now. But I didn't used to be able to go to concerts. Like she didn't want me going. So I don't know. I don't know how I literally don't remember like why I got into the music that I did. But I know I loved Hilary Duff because I used to watch Lizzie McGuire. So I loved that. And then Avril Lavigne, again, I mean, I guess Avril Lavigne was everywhere and growing up in Canada as well. But like, yeah, I used to wear like, I mean, I guess I still dress like this, but as a kid, like as a young kid, I would have like the cargo pants and the bracelets and the tie and with the wife beater. Like I walked around with that tie. But so many kids did. It wasn't like, I don't think I was a freak. I hope I wasn't. But yeah.
hey, freaks are okay. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
freak.
We're interesting now, so.
Yeah. Was there a lot of music playing at home when you were growing up?
I think my parents like always played like they were like playing like 80s music. Like that was like their thing. Like I remember my mom like always playing that song. What was the song? Oh, just another manic Monday. I
Like
remember
the Bangles.
being like in my car seat or whatever. Yeah, and she would play that song. Like, and then my like they yeah, they played all these older songs. They were not into the music that like I grew up listening to at all. At all, at all. And I don't think I really got into anything that they liked. Like I don't even know what they liked. But it was like it's older 80s stuff. Yeah.
Have they been to your shows, your parents?
They've been to my Toronto shows. It's funny, my mom hates concerts. She's like, I would never go to a concert unless it was yours. Like she's only ever been to my concert. She's like, I'm gonna go deaf. She's crazy. And then my dad, again, he's been to my Toronto shows. My dad's just like waiting for me to give up music and like be a doctor or something. He's still holding out hope. I don't know. I didn't even take science in high school. So. I don't think it's gonna happen, but
Yeah, I think maybe that
yeah.
ship has sailed, but
Yeah, maybe that ship has sailed, doctor lawyer thing. But would I even be an emo musician if I didn't have dad problems? Like, I don't think so.
that's a good quote.
Yeah.
Let's talk about other music. Like, do you pay attention to all the new stuff that's coming out? Anything caught your ear?
Yeah, I mean, I love, well, like Boy Genius is one of like I mean, it's not like a new discovery, but like that's one of the discoveries I had during writing this album, and there's a lot of influence from them in the album. And I like love the new Olivia Rodrigo album. I think it's so good. I feel like it's such a perfect mix of like pop and rock. Because like for me, like I'm not a hardcore rock girl, you know, like I love to rock out, but I don't people are always like I see on social media being like, do you think you're punk? You're not punk. And I'm like, I think I'm a pussy. I do not think I'm punk. Like, when did I ever fucking say that? But I think Olivia Rodrigo is a really sick mix of like exactly how I feel I am. So I, of course, love her music. I love Sabrina Carpenter as well. So those would be some new ones that I really like. Those are, I guess, would be like the main three new ones. Plus, just like from touring and meeting bands, like my first tour ever, I toured with this band Hot Mulligan, who is so sick, and it's been so cool to see them really grow over the years from when we first started touring, and I genuinely love their music and love them. So that kind of stuff. But I also always find myself kind of listening to just like old stuff. Like I'll go back and listen to like old John Mayer, old Green Day, older Taylor Swift. I do really like Taylor Swift too. Big
Yeah,
Swiftie. Yeah.
you're Swifty.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
we're all Swifties, really.
Who isn't a Swiftie? You're
Whether
lying.
we admit it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have a lot of touring coming up.
Yes.
Obviously, it just feels like you're out on the road all the time, but I don't know when you had a chance to record an album.
I know it is kind of crazy. Yeah. Yeah. I am kind of I'm either writing for an album slash whatever or touring, I guess, and then trying to also live a life, which I don't really have. So it's okay.
Yeah, it's all good. Enjoy the
Yeah.
ride. Like,
Enjoy the ride. Yeah. I
um,
mean, luckily my job is so fun. So there's like the catch 22 of it. Like yes, I'm working 24/7, but it's like the most fun, rewarding work ever. So
are you good at looking after yourself on the road?
I don't think so. I probably not. I feel like I wear myself out so thin. I'm the type of person that always like every second is booked. I'm like constantly doing something. And then one day I'll just kind of like be so tired and be like, I can do nothing today. But I'm the one good thing I have on the road, or not one good thing, but like one thing that I keep myself sane is I feel like I always have like my safe people, like my band that I've been with and my crew I've pretty much been with from the beginning. Like we've cycled out drummers, but besides that, like I've like my guitar player has been my guitar player always. And just like really, really good people. My tour manager, I'm like obsessed with him. I don't think I could do a show without him. So just like having those safe people on the road that like are there for you, I feel like is really important. That's like my number one thing.
And we can now mention Mariana's Trench.
Yes, just announced that an hour ago. I'm super excited for that. I
Yeah.
like that's actually kind of another pinch me moment. I've like literally like I feel like growing up, the bands that I like loved and that I would like be jumping up and down on my bed with a hairbrush, like, air banding was like Green Day, Simple Plan, Avril Lavigne, Mariana's Trench, Hilary Duff. And I've met or am gonna tour with all of them except Avril Lavigne and Hilary Duff. Those are on my bucket list, so we'll see. But I've been so lucky. Like I'm always just like, what? How do I get these opportunities where it's like I dreamt of this as a kid and then now it's happening, and I have to always be like, you need to like take this in.
Like you mentioned with Simple Plan, like you just blacked out. You can't black out for your whole
No, I can't block out
career.
the whole tour. That would be bad. That would be a lot of memory loss for an entire month.
Yeah, you're going to be in Montreal, I'm happy to say, on
Yes,
November
yes,
the
come,
20th.
please.
And that's MTELUS, which is like
Yeah, I've been there
the
actually.
most legendary venue in Montreal. It's a great place to play. And with Mariana Stretch, that's gonna be pretty spectacular.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So touring. Anything else planned for this year?
Yeah, I'm planning some headline stuff, which I can't say yet because nothing's confirmed yet, but planning, a lot of planning. So hopefully we'll be announcing stuff soon. But I'm really excited for the Canada tour because I've never toured Canada. I was planning on doing headline stuff, but then I got the Marianas Trench opportunity, which I think is way cooler than, the small shows that I would probably be doing. So we'll have to push the Canada headline stuff, but I think it'll be worth it to do these Marianas Trench shows.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. So if somebody had never heard your music, is there one song you'd want them to listen to first?
They've never heard my music, I'd probably say
Yeah.
listen to Hot Girls in Hell because I feel like that is a great, like, it starts off as like this singer-songwriter strip back thing and then goes crazy. So I think that's like a perfect mix of me as an artist. So I would say listen to Hot Girls in Hell.
Okay. And which song on the album that people haven't heard of yet or hadn't heard yet are you most excited for them to hear?
I feel like it's a mix between either Gloria or I Would Fix You If I Could, which are both like strip back ones. I Would Fix You If I Could, I think is just like, I don't know, it really pulls at my heartstrings in particular. But then Gloria is a really cool perspective that I've never written from before or on a topic that I've never written about before. So I'm excited. Yeah, I'm like so curious to see what people will think of the album tracks.
I'm excited to see what happens next for you because it sounds like everything's just like going crazy or is about to go crazy anyway.
I
Uh,
hope so. You never like know when you're in it. I'm always like, oh, I'm doing terribly. I'm a failure. But that's just me. I'm probably always gonna think that.
Yeah. But I know you've worked hard for this, so it's really nice to see it happening for you. And in the meantime, thank you for your time. And we'll see you in November in Montreal.
Awesome. Yes. Can't wait to meet you.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Take care. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
'Cause I can't take when she brings you up, when she says your name.